Bobby D. Anabela
Bacchione.
Bacchione. She's all dolled up. I'm a slob. She didn't get the memo.
That's right, I didn't.
The memo was...
Sweatpants and sweatshirt?
That's what it was, but you want to impress people. I don't know why. You're supposed to impress people with your words of wisdom. Alright, so that's what you're here to do today.
Yes.
We are doing a follow-up video because you have such a big mouth that you couldn't finish all the material in the first one. So
right,
we have
I only have 15 minutes.
Yeah, less than. Now, this title of this video is What Else is in Your Foods?
Right.
Stuff we did not cover the last time, and you were very upset because there's so many other things that you want to get to. So quickly, let's discuss some other bad things that are in foods. Let's start with something that's in kind of a misconception that I think, because people think that this is a healthy product, and you'll get people to argue with you.
I know.
Let's say you're wrong about soy.
Right.
Talk about soy.
All right. Well, just to let you guys know right off the bat, if you want to read an amazing book about soy, some really profound information, Kayla Daniels writes a great book. It's called The Whole Soy Story.
You get like a commission?
No. And you can go on to westonaprice.org and you can get a lot of information if you don't want to read a book. So I'm going to say that first, okay?
Most of these people don't want to read a book. That's why they're watching a video.
So, okay, we're going to talk about soy. Alright, so soy originated in China. They used soy in order to put nitrogen back into the soil because that's how, when they rotated their crops, there was missing minerals and elements in the soil. So that's why they planted the soy, to get nitrogen back into the soil. So when they planted the fruits and vegetables that they wanted to eat, they had this nitrogen back into the soil, so it was nutritious. But, you know, okay, then there was starvation, and they had all this soy, and they said, well, we should do something with this soy. But they knew that it was an anti-nutrient, that it wasn't a food that they can really consume. Until they discovered fermentation, they literally fermented the bean, and when they did that, they noticed that it wasn't an anti-nutrient anymore, and then it had some nutrition. But their soy is like miso, tempeh, natto. That's not what we're consuming. They use them as condiments. We're using, you know, we're drinking soy milk. We're just taking this bean and creating like 12, 14 different processes just to make this soy milk, and we think that we're eating something really healthy, but we're not. There's a lot of properties in soy that aren't healthy. Yes, there is some estrogen in it, so there has that benefit, but there's a lot of negative too. Like there's phytic acid, robs the body of minerals. There's hemagglutinin, which is an anti-clotting property, but when they fermented it, it actually is an anti-clotting. But if it's not fermented, it's clotting. And it really blocks protein digestion. So a lot of people are doing soy because it is a protein, but it doesn't allow you to really digest protein because there's an enzyme that's missing that doesn't allow you to completely, you know, process that.
So why is everybody...
Because it's cheap, it's a lot, it's out there, it's a lot, it's a cheap product to put in the food, it increases the protein content because people want more protein. Okay, but here's what you really need to know. It's when it's involved in the kids' food that kills me. Okay. Let's just talk about formula. If your child is on soy formula, they're consuming enough estrogen that's in 5 birth control pills a day.
Wow.
Did you hear that?
I did.
A day. 5 birth control pills a day. I don't want my kids on birth control pills as an infant. You know, it creates a lot of problems for them. You know, emotional issues, asthma, immune, irritable bowel, thyroid problems, their puberty, you know, they go into puberty much earlier. Did you know that WIC, I forget what it stands for, but anyway, WIC, when they give free formula to moms and to the children, especially African Americans, they end up giving them soy formula because African Americans have a problem digesting dairy, a lot of them, so they give them soy. So these young babies, especially these African Americans, are on soy formula and they don't even know, you know.
Wow.
So it's, you know, there is some positive to it, but you guys have to know the other side of it. So that book or that website will really give you all this information so, you know, you could talk more intelligent and have some, you know, research behind you, not just, oh, soy is a great food. You know?
This isn't a 15-minute talk on soy, so let's go to...
All right, but I'm passionate about that. You know, people need to know that. All right, let's talk about...
What are you not passionate about? I mean, let's go on.
All right.
How about hydrogenated oils?
Hydrogenated oils.
Let's go.
So what
Cliff
they do...
Note version.
Okay, all right. They take this oil and they throw hydrogen into it.
Gotcha.
Now it converts it into an oil that's not found in nature anymore.
Okay.
Very high in inflammation. The FDA says there is 0 safe levels of partially hydrogenated oils, but yet, we see these labels that say 0 trans fats.
Right.
Well, it's allowed in our food if it's 0.5 grams per serving. And so what the food manufacturers did is they lowered the serving. So if you could look and eat one Oreo cookie. I'm just using Oreo as an example. I'm just saying you can eat one Oreo cookie. That's a serving, and it has 0.5 grams of trans fats. But yet the FDA says that's not allowed. No, 0 is safe levels.
Wow.
So it's not a real fat anymore. They took a normal fat and they converted it into something. We call them man-made plastic.
That's why it's called trans
Fats.
fat.
That's where the word trans comes from. They transform it into another molecule that is not recognized by the body. So, I mean, it's linked to arteriosclerosis, cholesterol, gallbladder problems. Lots of women now are getting their gallbladders removed.
So don't
Heart
look
disease.
at the label. If it says trans fat or hydrogenated oil, stay away from it.
Stay away from it.
All right,
You can
now,
get foods without
that's
that.
enough. Now, GMO, we touched on this in the last
Right.
video, genetically modified organism. Go.
Right. One thing I did not add at the last video is if you really want to watch a good DVD, some good information, it's called Seeds of Deception. You're going to get depressed, but you guys got to get informed.
Seeds of deception.
Seeds of Deception is what you want.
We'll put that on the
Right.
video.
Right, very important. Let's talk about MSG,
GMO,
monosodium
that was
glutamate.
it? That's your whole talk on GMO is
No,
the
we
seeds of
talked about
deception?
we talked a lot about GMO, and do you want me to move on?
All
So
right, I
moving
guess so.
on.
All right, MSG. That's not
MSG,
isn't that Madison
monosodium-
Square Garden?
No,
That's what I think.
it's
it is.
short for monosodium glutamate, and
Isn't
that's
that
a
just in Chinese
neurotoxin.
food? I mean,
A lot of people think that. A lot of people say, look, Anabela, I don't need any MSG, because
Right.
when I go to the Chinese restaurant, I tell them to take it out.
Right.
It's in everything. And there's these hidden words.
everything. Like what? What's it in?
Okay, you can find like free glutamate, yeast extract, texturized protein, hydrolyzed vegetable protein. Those are hidden words because the food manufacturers know that you're going to look for MSG and you're not going to buy it.
So they actually changed the name.
Yes, because there's, absolutely. So there's a list when I did my talk. What did I give you guys? Like 7 or 8 names
Right, yes.
for MSG? They put it in our food because it's a flavor enhancer and it decreases the amount of ingredients that these food manufacturers need to put in our food.
Ah.
And it's a flavor enhancer.
Gotcha.
So when you taste it, you're like, this is great. Meanwhile, there's really nothing in the food. It's all processed chemicals. There really isn't any natural food in there.
Right.
So it tricks the brain to think that this is something that tastes good. It's in baby formula.
MSG's in baby food.
Yes, it's in gum, it's in sodas, it's in our foods, it's in vaccines, it's in over-the-counter medication, prescription medication, it's in vitamins, supplements. I mean, it's everywhere. So you got to look for more of a natural foods, natural supplements, those kinds of
So
things.
basically, we can't eat anything, and we just drink water all day. Like what's going on? What do we eat?
We need
What
to
do we
be
eat?
conscious of what we eat. We need to get informed. We need to hear people like myself and other people who are giving you this information so that you can look at food labels, because we're not looking at food labels. We're looking at the front, which the food manufacturers put all their money, not in the food, on the labeling, so that you can see these buzzwords. But we're not really looking at the true ingredients that are behind the label, behind the bottle, the box. And we need to start eating natural foods. We're not going to find MSG if you're going to make a steak and you're going to make a salad. We're not going to have MSG if you're going to make an egg for breakfast. Or you make some natural tea instead of buying something in a whatever, a bottle or soda or whatever.
Right.
If we go back to some natural foods, we're not going to have these ingredients in there.
Okay.
Okay, so for people who can't do all this cooking, you got to look at the labels. You have to find food that's more natural. We owe it to ourselves and to our kids to do that, especially our kids.
I think you did a good job. I think we made our budget with our time. Not sure.
Okay.
We'll find out, but I think we did it.
Well,
Now,
you can go, when I do my talks too,
There we go.
you can go on to theartofnutritionnj.com, and we have posted the talks.
Put that website right here.
Right. I should be doing my next talk in January. I'm taking off the holidays. People are too busy.
Right.
But we're going to do another talk in January. I think the next talk is going to be what's in our medicine cabinets. My last one, what's in our foods. I'm going to do what's in our medicine cabinet. So just go on that website. I have a nutrition link there, and we will be posting when the talks are coming.
Okay.
That'll be the next talk.
Sometime in 2015, Anabela will have a Facebook page. By that time, it'll be like Face Encyclopedia.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm
She's
very
bad,
busy.
but here's her email address. Send her an email.
Right?
In the meantime,
Be more than happy to answer
she
any
answered.
questions.
You got a lot of feedback from the last video. Lots of good feedback. A lot of questions.
Okay.
And Annabelle's out there, ready to do her thing. Anabela Bacchione. Bobby D.
Bye.
See you next time.